Yeah, this is Cash Jackson. How you fellas doing?
There we go.
Very good. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Sorry about the delay there. I didn't get in until really late and had a hard time waking up this morning.
Listen, I understand you. You're taking on quite a big, quite a big undertaking here, and I'm very happy to. There's a lot I want to talk to you about because you've been so busy. I haven't had the opportunity to kind of grab you on the road. You have so much going on, and I'm so excited for the momentum you have going with having mainstream media following you and the progress you're making is phenomenal. One of the things I did want to talk to you about. Well, first of all, let's start from the beginning because I want you to describe what you're doing and where you are now, and then I just want to talk to you about some of the media critiques that I heard that were frustrating to me. But yet, at the same time, the way I look at things, positive comments and negative comments bring attention to the cause. So I invite them both, but I would also like to clarify some of the misleading commentary that I had come across. So perhaps you could tell me a little bit first about, the Restoring Freedom Tour, what motivated you to get involved, and how you got started.
Well, I guess, Carlos, kind of what got me motivated to get involved was like many other families who had been destroyed in family court. And, there was a particular day that I look back upon, and that was the day that I said, absolutely no more, and I'm not going to be treated like this any longer, nor will the American people. And that was the day that a judge looked right across from me and inside the courtroom, and he told me that he was issuing an order of protection on me based upon the advocacy work I do for family law reform. And it was only, and really what it amounted to was 3 pictures off of my personal Facebook page of me, of writing. 2 of those pictures were of writing on the back of my truck, saying, reform family law or defund Title 4D or something to that effect. And then 1 picture of me standing outside holding a sign, much like many of us have held at our rallies and marches and walks. And so I had to clarify with this judge, and I said, sir, do I understand you correctly to say that your intent is to punish me by taking my children away or prohibiting me from seeing my children because I expressed my First Amendment right that I fought for 20 years? And with a smile and a smirk on his face, he said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing to you.
I do want to point out, too, that, for those people who aren't aware that, you did serve this country for 20 years as a petty officer first class with top secret clearance. And you have, an outstanding military record. And this is the way you're treated in family court. The same person who defends our rights is treated this way, which is one of the most horrifying points of your story that really sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, and I knew that if this judge, number one, is so bold to assert that in an open courtroom while I'm standing there in uniform and people in this courtroom watching this unfold, if he was so bold to do that, he would just willingly or blatantly say, I'm going to punish you because you fight for the system that pays me what it does. If he was so bold to do that, and I'd already known that so many people were being affected by this, Carlos, I was already active, as an advocate for family law reform. I was already doing that, not to a huge degree, but I was doing it. And but when he did that, and really, because of that, I've only had about somewhere in between 30 to 40 hours. I don't know the exact number. With my children in the last 6 months, and most of which of that I had to pay for. I had to pay $30 an hour to see my children for 1 hour a week in a supervised setting, because I'm an advocate for family law reform. That's how. It's
incredible that the amount of personal risk you take for speaking out. I mean, this is an injustice. It goes against our basic constitutional rights, as you're pointing out on your tour. And this was the Constitution was written to protect the people, and to have government responsible. And by just speaking out and fighting for reform and speaking out about constitutional violations, you're penalized. I think that the most inhumane punishment is to take someone's children away as a punishment. Felons and all kinds of people that are threats to society have more rights than a person who's fighting for their rights as a parent. So I know that you've been fighting for that. You've been penalized terribly with having to have paid to have to have visitation rights with your children. That's something I've been following, and your heartfelt videos, which, your initial one where you were in uniform talking about your court experience, I found that a very, very heartfelt and difficult video to watch because of just the anguish you were being put through.
Yeah.
And it really got me. It really got me.
Yeah, it was. And that was the day. I left from court and I was just so bewildered and so upset and so angry. There were so many emotions going through me, and I sat down and, and I know that oftentimes, we shouldn't make decisions based on emotion. But I also knew in the back of my mind, how hurt I was, and that pain needed to be captured so that people saw that and people could relate to that. Because I knew at some point in time in the future, people are going to want to know, why am I fighting so hard for what I'm fighting for? And that would be a point of reference for them to be able to go back and say, oh, okay.
I think it's true. People could sit there and they could be next to us and watch us going through this process and not truly know what it's like to be in that process. And, I'm sure you've come across certain criticisms. I get criticisms on my posts that, stop being a whiner and suck it up and deal, or, just pay the fine, pay the child support. It's like, you have no idea what it's like to have your children used as a bargaining chip against you. And,
right.
And
yeah, I do encounter it. And, and just the way that I'm built internally, how I'm structured, and I think really as people we are, that when we feel we're being attacked, we get defensive.
Absolutely.
I think that's just a natural instinct, is to, especially when this person, would not be saying that if they knew a fraction of what you had been through and what you were enduring. They would not be standing across from you saying those words.
The other thing, too, is I think that you need to be a parent to truly understand what it's like to fight for your children, because most people are docile and they would accept a lot of injustice or irritation. You're making me want coffee because I can hear you in the background. I was like, gee, I could go for some coffee right now too. But
yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
I know, I can hear you making it. But I think that most people, and I've seen it year after year after year in my profession, where people are very mild mannered and good natured, and then next thing you know, they when it comes to their children, they will fight. They will easily become a person they never were before to fight on behalf of their children. And this is the kind of thing that I could see with you, and that, you fought for this nation, you've taken orders. I'm sure that you've been made to do things you didn't want to do, but you're following orders. And to stand in the courtroom that you believe stands for fairness and justice and have this happen to you, for me, it was mind blowing. It's like, I can't believe that the court will actually do this to people right in your face. And that's one of the reasons I joined the fights, not because I enjoy being an activist or I like fighting the system. I don't. I want to go back to believing in the system that I was taught to believe in. And for you, I could see what prompted you to get into this, and how you were penalized for simply stating your opinion for the very rights that you fought for.
Right.
Your life was at risk for these things. So,
right.
So I know that I had the opportunity to meet you through Patrick Glenn in California, through his walk, and I've been watching you with your posts. I find them very informative and very they're raw. You just kind of say what needs to be said. It's not confront. I kind of find it's like, sometimes the truth is hard to hear. And
right.
You're right out there and saying, listen, this is the injustice, this is what needs to be done. And then I see you on this cross-country campaign now. So how did you get that ball rolling?
Man, that was just some of it was just pure timing of events, because I had already made it up in my mind that once my last day in the Navy hit, which was 31 August, I'd already made it up in my mind. And I'd said it many times in some of my videos that, I didn't know what I was going to do, but come 1 September, I knew that was when the dog was coming off the leash. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was when I was no longer bound to the Navy, and that's when and that's when I was going to really, for lack of better terms, unleash hell on this system. Because when they did that, Carlos, and what they've put me through and what they've put other families through, they declared war on families a long time ago. I just so happen to be into this war now. And so I said, you know what, on 1 September, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. And so I'd made it up in my mind, well, you know what, there's this town hall meeting coming up with Gary Johnson down in Purdue University. If you saw some of my videos, you'll know that I was able to engage and actually speak to Donald Trump and to his vice presidential candidate, Mike Pence. Spoke to both of these guys. I have it all on video of me talking to them, just really pleading for help. And, and these guys swore that they were going to get back to me, gave them my personal contact information, said, hey, I'm a 20-year Navy veteran. I'm being prohibited from seeing my children. Just pleading with them, like a hurting parent does, because I want to get in front of them and discuss this issue with them, not just my personal case, but,
absolutely.
So I said, you know what? Okay, we got Gary Johnson coming up, so, I'm one just to keep on trying. So I was like, I'm going to try Gary Johnson. And then in my mind, I was like, well, you know what? I'm already down in Indiana. I MapQuested it and saw that DC is only about a 10-hour drive. So I said, well, I'm going to go to DC too. But before I can do that, I need to go out to Washington State, and I got to pack up all of my household belongings that I had left up there in storage for the last 12 months, and I have to move them down here.
Okay. So that's how the Washington State became part of the tour?
Hold on 1 second. I was on the phone with Thomas Fiddler, and he and I were, or I think he had messaged me. Well, he found out that I was going to Washington State, and I was going to be driving cross country with my household belongings in a moving truck. So Thomas Fiddler said, hey, hold on 1 second for me, Carlos.
Yeah, take your time.
1004. So Thomas Fiddler said, when he found out, he was like, well, wait a second. He said, you're telling me.
Well, Thomas Fiddler, the founder of the Fathers' Rights Movement also.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. So he found out about it, and he said, well, wait a second. You're getting ready to drive from Washington State to Illinois, and you're also going to be doing this kind of half-country campaign, from Illinois to Washington, D.C. He said, so why don't you just use that to build momentum to going into D.C.? And that was supposed to be my vacation time, because I've been, working very hard and pressing very hard on a lot of things, my own court case and starting my own business and, fighting the family law, system as it's structured. So I had a lot going on, and I wanted some vacation time and some time away with myself, and my girlfriend and my mom was going to fly into Seattle and help me to drive across the country. And I was really hesitant, because I needed some downtime. I needed some relaxed time away from things. And, but it was kind of those once in a lifetime opportunity where things were just lining up the right way. And, I had to kind of recognize it for what it is, as a great opportunity. And I'm like, you know what? He's right. So instead of taking a vacation and enjoying myself coming across the country, I elected to instead go from capital to capital, raising awareness, generating some momentum about what we're suffering through before I make it to DC, to hopefully garnish national media attention, hopefully capture the attention of the United States, and moreover, hopefully to capture the attention of our, commander-in-chief and Congress.
It's interesting, too. I had seen you talk about, excuse me a second, I'm getting a message, but I had seen you in one of your posts mention, the roll up your sleeves tour or get off your ass tour or something like that. And it's one thing that, that's a big point, and it's one of the things that we spoke about when I had the opportunity to meet you in San Francisco, and that, it's fine to follow the posts and but we have to show numbers. And you have You have 5 million people at least getting divorced every year. And then, between people who actually get divorced are directly affected and indirectly affected, this affects everybody in the nation.
Yes.
And people need to know that we need to show up in big numbers. And, I was happy that, you were finally, that you, through the momentum, were getting mainstream media attention and you have people coming out there. And I'm kind of hoping that it has a snowball effect, that more people start joining along the way because, I myself am going to be there. I was fortunate enough that I have a sponsor for my show who'll be sponsoring me to go down to DC to see you and to show my support for you, which, we need people to get out there. We need to show numbers. If there's just a handful of the diehard lunatics out there talking about family law reform, we could be dismissed. But if we start showing huge numbers of veterans, how you guys are affected by family law, how the average person's affected, people that are alienated, we need people to get out there. Take an hour, take 2 hours, take a drive. It's like my car's not working, gas or whatever. I'm carpooling with Christy Beck, Linda Moore, and Michael Gilligan of Smash Parental Alienation. Christy Beck, of course, from In Mommy Interrupted, Linda Moore is an activist as well. So we're all getting in the car. We're sharing a hotel room. We're going to be there in D.C. with you to physically show our support and show the numbers. And, I'm impressed. You have a lot of people that are activists who are making their way down to at least of D.C. that I know of.
Right. Yeah. I've been super impressed with how many people have just messaged me and, that are going to go to D.C. And kind of whenever I entertain this idea, I had to really resolve myself to the fact of, in every one of these capitals and possibly in Washington, D.C., I could feasibly be the only person standing there. Mm-hmm. But for me, that's a reflection of just, what was instilled in me to fight for what is right. And, and that's something that I had to, I have to do myself, not just for this country, but I have to do it for myself because I would not be able to go to my grave knowing
exactly
something like this existed and so many people were suffering and I didn't do something about it.
Exactly. I share that sentiment so strongly. And that's the thing. And, the other thing, too, is like you mentioned how busy you are because, I had mentioned time and time again that I plan to walk as a pediatrician to walk 3,000 miles across country. This is something that I know that you actively want to take a part in, Patrick Lynn, Christy Beck. And you get caught up with, court. Like the minute I announced it, my ex struck and I'm back in court and
right.
There's other court issues I got to deal with, all stemming from my divorce. I have so much legal collateral damage from my divorce. And, it sucks you in. And in my case, it just became, and I have to fight depression. It's like, I just hate this 9 years. It's like, doesn't stop. But at the same time, what's therapeutic for me, what keeps me going is like, I can't sit back and not do anything. I can't let I can't let somebody else walk right into this. And at the personal cost to me, it's irrelevant because, I sure as hell wish somebody did it before me and you.
Right.
I wish somebody fixed this system so we could have just gotten divorced, seen our kids, and had normal lives. You didn't ask for this, and neither did I. But you know what? It ended up in our laps, and we're not passing it off to the next guy. You're taking part in it, and just like your military career, I'm not going to compare myself to you in your military career, but you're protecting those around you. And you're continuing to fight against injustice and against, in your case, I believe it's enemies domestic and foreign, right? So we're fighting domestic enemies in this course. And I think that people think we exaggerate and, we might be fanatical or overzealous. It's like, it's not. When you look at the injustice that's taking place strictly for greed and for money, people will realize, and they need people like you walking in uniform with the United States flag in distress, not in disrespect, but in distress.
Right.
Upside down. Walking. That's a powerful message. I saw those pictures of you and the video of you, walking with that flag. It's like, wow, that would really stop and get my attention to see, someone in uniform. Because everybody on the planet knows what the flag represents to those in uniform. And
right.
the anger it incites in them when the flag is disrespected.
Right.
And in your case, you're not disrespecting the flag. You honor the flag. You fight for it. But you're showing this is distress. That this country is in chaos and it needs to be fixed. And that's one of the, I was behind you, all the way. But, when you took the courage to put on that uniform and walk with the flag in distress, I was like, I have to stand by this guy's side, let him know that I care. And for the people that are fighting for this cause, we need to get out there. You need to get off of your ass, take a risk and show something, because nothing's going to change if we sit back and complain.
Absolutely.
If we send, like you're asking, if we send the letters, we show up at a Capitol, and it's not just 10 people, it's 100 people, it's 1,000 people. It's like, oh, wait a minute. These people aren't sidewalk preachers. People are starting to realize what's going on.
Yeah, and that's and that was really, that was a extremely, extremely difficult decision for me to make, because I knew that what the possible ramifications could that be for myself and for this movement, that I could possibly hinder what we're trying to do by choosing that specific route of wearing my uniform and inverting the American flag and flying that through the capitals. I knew that could really harm me
Absolutely.
personally. Really, there's some very fringe individuals out there who, could possibly see what I'm doing. And, it really, in some cases, my life could be at risk not knowing, who I may come in contact with.
Absolutely.
And moreover, I didn't know how that was going to be perceived by the veteran community, because, when I kind of thought about it what can I do to generate controversy and awareness and get people to talking and engaging and just to lift eyebrows, and so, you've seen people across this country disrespect the flag where they have burned it and they set it on, they stomped on it and they've put it upside down, and for all of the wrong reasons, and in all of the wrong context. And so there were a number of ways I could have went about this. In fact, some of my some of my greatest advocates for me that support me, some people on my team, even here in Illinois, they were strongly, strongly recommending, please, please, please don't do that. They really thought that, you're going to hurt this movement. And it wasn't lost on me. You know what I mean? I knew this is like a 50-50 shot right here on what I'm considering doing, that this could be detrimental to myself and my organization, Illinois for Parental Equality. It could be detrimental to our entire movement and what we're trying to accomplish. And I knew that. I knew there was great risk involved with doing it that way.
I think the statement, it's a strong statement. You have to make it bold. I think you made the perfect decision in doing it, and you can see now that it didn't work against you. That people, they directly see what's going on and how strongly you feel about this. And I think it gives it more credibility to see a person in uniform. And I'm sitting here contemplating. Maybe when I go to the Capitol with you, I don't wear lab coats, a doctor lab coat in the office. I always found that it scared children. But I think just to signify that, listen, this is all professions. Other professions are standing behind this cause and, to fight this injustice. To me, is how it affects children, how it affects families. As a physician, I'm outraged, not just because I'm directly affected. Obviously, that's how I became aware of it. But, I see the suffering that goes along with the alienation and all the injustice of family law reform. I found out, you segued into something very, very big that I want to talk to you in the closing moments. But Christy Beck brought up a logistical point.
Carlos, are you there, buddy?
Yeah. You got a lot of activity in the background. It's almost like you have kids in the background. That's all I need.
I'll get it.
Dude, man,
he's touching me. Tell him to stop.
You guys, you wouldn't believe how much, sorry for the interruption.
That's
my phone and everything is just going off.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't find a hole dark or quiet enough to get away from everything.
You want me to hang up on him, Carlos?
Not yet. I'm going to give him some respect as a veteran.
All right. I'm sitting in my bedroom with the door shut. So
no, I apologize. I know how busy you are, and I'm very grateful you did the show. And I wanted to do it while you were on tour, so people became aware. as if, they were missing it in general. But like, I wanted to do my part to raise acknowledgement that you're doing this tour and what you're fighting for. But in the closing moments, I want to go over something with you because Christy Beck brought out that, I thought that I was going on the 11th to just meet up with you at the Capitol. That's where you're going to be. But you have quite an itinerary for that day. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss you by the time you're at the Capitol because I'm going to be flying out to California. Again, Melissa Shea of Money Matters and WLINY are taking care of my transportation. But I'm going to be seeing Michael Lazarin on the 12th in San Jose for a press release regarding his daughter Audrey Pott and the release of the Netflix movie Audrey and oh my God, I can't think, Amy.
Right.
Yeah, but you have an itinerary where you're going to be at the World War II Memorial, the Museum of Natural History, and I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to go as a WLINY correspondent and follow you during your tour that day. But unfortunately, I'm going to miss you at the culminating event or the apex where you're going to be at the White House. Christy Beck, however, will be there along with others, and she can continue to cover it for WLINY while I'm en route to California.
Yeah, you know what? I saw the. I'm not as up to date on my itinerary, probably as what I should be. I kind of let my team handle that, and really, it's just they point the attack dog in the right direction. And then that's it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They just kind of let me off the leash and like, hey, we need you to go here, and this is who you're going to. And so I just take off full steam to that location. I get there and I have no idea the route or anything once I get there. And there's a lot of things that my team and I could work on as far as those logistics. And I saw that, I saw the schedule for DC just a couple days ago, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. Cause all of my other ones, there've been about 3 hours in total, for, the time that we marched and the time that we stopped and spoke or engaged with the media. So it wasn't too terribly bad. And especially out west, it was much cooler coming down from Washington State. But once I hit Kansas and now the Missouri and Iowa, holy cow. I was joking in Kansas that if anybody was hungry, I could cook them a chicken inside that uniform.
Amazing. Yeah.
But the schedule out in D.C., that is an all-day affair. And, it's funny you should mention it because one of the gentlemen out there I think it's helped with the planning and the route, he messaged me this morning and said, hey, I just want to let you know it was going to be 91 degrees and 90% humidity on September the 11th.
Fantastic. That's going to be great.
I'm like, perfect. I'm going to be drenched by the time I'm in front of the White House. So it is what it is,
but it's a war.
It is what it is. I just got to hydrate.
You're fighting a war, and
Yep.
you have other people with you that are going to stand by your side, and we got you back, and we're in the fight together. So I'm real proud, and I'm very, very impressed by the amount of momentum you got going, and I'm excited to meet a lot of these people that I've been following, these other fighters in the fight. So I'm really looking forward to this event, and I'm going to be there, to support you, to cover you that day. I do want to get at one point because Christy Beck, it's almost like everybody in the planet somehow knows Christy Beck. And she was mentioning that one of the media outlets unfairly portrayed the story as, someone who's just basically fighting against child support.
Right.
And, it's so far from the truth that we're fighting for our children. None of us in this fight feel that, we don't have to financially contribute to our children's health and well-being. That's
Right.
not even a consideration. It's just the unfairness and the outright economic abuse that's being taking place here. And I want you to have that final comment on that. That news story. I feel it was misleading and simply just incorrect.
Yeah, you know what, Carlos, and that was something that I also was aware of because, let's be honest. We all know as Americans that for a very long time, we have not been able to trust that we're going to get fair and honest and accurate reporting from the media on many, many levels. And I knew that as well going in that, if I get caught up with the media, there's a good chance they're going to take something that I'm saying and they're going to spin it to fit their narrative. And so I was really waiting. I knew it was a matter of time before I encountered a reporter that was going to do that. And sure enough, with the second one.
Did we lose him?
We lost him for a second. Hold on 1 second.
All right. Well, while we're trying to get Cash
You
back
actually
on.
have you actually have Christy Beck on the phone right now.
All right,
stand
and
by.
I wanna
We'll get him right back.
All right, I'm going to give Mia a few minutes to talk about her event as well, so we talk about.
Stand by. Let me see if I can get him back on. Hold on.
Hi, Carlos.
Hey, Christy Beck, how are you?
Hi, I kept hearing you say my name, so I had to call in.
All right, well, I couldn't help it because.
Christy, I'm going to get you right back in. Stand by, okay?
So,
Stand by.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
Okay.
We're very
Shoot.
excited to have Christy Beck of Mommy Interrupted here on WLINY. Christy, thank you for calling in.
Absolutely. It's the least I can do. We're all together in this, and I'm just so. There's so much movement and momentum, and I'm just happy that you're able to interview Ben Cash this morning.
I have to put Christy on hold for a second in order to get.
Okay.
Get
Oh,
Okay.
Christy, he does it to you all the time.
I know, always interrupts me.
He does.
Fine.
Fine, be that way. Okay.
All right. Sorry, Christy. Hold on 1 second, Doc. When she came in, it automatically pushed.
Hey, we got disconnected there.
So we got Cash back. We had Christy coming in, and again, I still want to remind our listeners we have Mia here to talk about her event for hydrocephalus. I just want to make sure that we get her event out there as well, because as a pediatrician, it's tremendously important to make people aware of these issues. But Cash, you had mentioned about the one reporter you met on the second day who was inaccurate with her description of what you're fighting for.
Well, it was his. It was a gentleman that had done that. But I saw the piece, and I mean, my phone, like as soon as it aired, my phone was blowing up. I mean, it was just going nuts, and people were super concerned about what I said, how I said it, how the media spun it. You name it. Like, I was just like, oh goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I knew it was a matter of time before I encountered this. And I saw the video, and what he had done was he took that footage with his cell phone and then immediately uploaded it. And I started to send the guy a message, a really nasty gram about, you know what, that was just really irresponsible of you to do that. But I said, no, I'm going to sit and wait. I want to see what happens, because I wanted to know how would the people that this is affecting, how would they respond? Because I knew they're going to want to see, they're going to see this, the people who were out there in Kansas and other supporters, through this movement, they're going to see this video. It's going to get shared. And when they saw it, I mean, Carlos, they just let him have it. They came unhinged on this guy, and he really did a 180 and a full retraction of that piece and put out something, much better, And
well, hey, I'll give him credit for that. I wasn't aware of that, so I'm glad that that the story was corrected and the cause is truly reflected. Yeah,
more of it's in there. It's still, now it's still not great. It still does come across as, hey, here's this service member who just doesn't want to pay child support, and he's telling other people not to pay child support and be deadbeats. It does still kind of come across that way. But if anybody is intelligent enough to really listen to the message, you'll hear me say immediately after I said that, child support is me teaching my son how to throw a football. Child support is teaching my daughter right from wrong. That's true child support. And so we got to hold the media accountable when they do those things. And you know what? And the supporters, they did that. They followed through, and they absolutely held that guy accountable.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But and again, I don't like being the on the opposite end on that end of misinterpretation. But the way I look at it too is I expect it, and if it brings attention to the cause, at least people will investigate and see what's going on.
Exactly.
Some people will take the feed directly and just run with it. Other people will investigate. We're looking for people to do their research, to see what's going on, and to spread the word, because this is an injustice that takes place in plain sight. I think we have Christy on the phone from California, so I want to give. We lost Christy. Okay, so Ben, I want to give you. Excuse me, Cash. I want to give you a. I always end the song with the show with the song that's inspirational to the person who's kind enough to come on the show. And while you're deciding that, I just want to give Mia. She's been patient and wonderful to come into the studio. Just want to give her the opportunity again to to describe her event that's taking place on the 18th
Yes.
at Belmont Lake State Park. So take it away. You've been very patient, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, on September 18th, the Hydrocephalus Association Walk. It's a great day for those suffering, living with hydrocephalus, and their families to get together, network, and just be together, because these are all warriors we're celebrating, and they do need a day for them. And that's
Absolutely.
what we do. It's a great family fun day. We raise the funds for the research, which the Hydrocephalus Association, they're amazing, and they've already put over $4 million towards research for a cure,
Fantastic.
and their support and education, they're just a phenomenal resource.
Well, as a physician, I'm
Glorious.
completely behind you and your cause, and
Thank
I'll
you.
do everything I can to raise awareness to your event. Feel free to come back Wednesday next week to mention it again. If your son's in school, if you wish to
Yes.
speak, as a person with hydrocephalus, or anyone who wants to come with you, feel free to join us again, and LINY will get the word out. So
Thank you. I
thank you so
appreciate
much.
that.
Appreciate that, and God bless you. And good luck with your event.
Thank you.
Cash, I just, we got a couple minutes to close out. I want to send my true, I don't know, I can't find the right words, and that's just, I'm proud to know you. I'm proud to fight alongside you. I think that what you're doing is tremendous, and I admire the fact that you roll up your sleeves, you get off your ass, and you're in the fight. I shared with you that poem I posted today by Teddy Roosevelt about the man in the arena, where you're not a man of words, you're a man of words and action. So I applaud that. And in the closing moments, did you pick out a song that Eric can put on the air before we head out?
Yeah, I hope you guys can pull it up. It's by a gentleman by the name of Alvin Garrett, and it's the song's entitled "By Myself." And I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Garrett in Chicago whenever I received an award down there from this, from a community down there for the work that I'm doing, and I was really truly honored, to receive the award and to meet so many people working within their community to better it. And Alvin Garrett sang this song there at the award ceremony called
What was
"By
his name?
Myself."
Alvin Garrett. His name is.
Yeah, Alvin
All
Garrett.
right, Stan.
G-A, I think it's R-E-T-T. Very talented individual, and it just struck a chord with me. And the more I've heard it, it's just, we have to resolve within ourselves that no matter what, whether anybody joins us in this fight or not, we have to be willing to continue on, even if it's just us.
Exactly. I applaud that. And again, even with the personal risks we take, I'll continue to fight at the cost to me, because I think the cost to me is irrelevant in the big picture of how it affects so many people. So I applaud you. I'm going to be right there with you. And I urge others to really, it takes more time to come up with excuses than to really just get in there and show your support. So take a ride, go someplace. Many of us can find a way. And if we really sit down, we can really be there, just show our support for an hour, be there, and to let the politicians know that, hey, listen, this needs to change, make the courts accountable, make the courts admit what's going on. So, Cash, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on the show. I know that you're a really busy man. I'll continue to follow you. You have your, of course, your Facebook site, Cash Jackson.
Right.
And then where else can we find you on your tour?
Best place to get me would be on my personal Facebook page, which is Cash Jackson with a K. But preferably, I hope that people would come to the Restoring Freedom 2016 page and like our page and share it, and just Google the heck out of it, and try and drive up that I call it the geek meter, and to try and get more people contacting.
And I know you need the letters. You didn't mention the letters, but to write the letters that are described on your Facebook page regarding the need for reform that you could bring with you.
Thank you for that, Carlos. Yeah, if you guys come to any of the capitals or the cities that we're stopping at on the Restoring Freedom 2016 tour, they can either hand deliver them to me, or right now they can email them in to restoringfreedom2016@gmail.com, and one of my team guys is going to bring those. We'll print off those letters and bring them to me in DC. So, and we're looking at possibly altering a couple of stops here in the we may take Richmond, Virginia off, and we may take West Virginia off, and we're possibly looking at a couple of other cities.
I just want to let you guys know you got a guy by the name. We just got a message from a gentleman by the name of Brian Lee. He says, "Thank you for doing the show. I, Brian Lee, along with my organization Truth Exposed, based out of Maryland, is helping Cash Jackson in coordinating the March for D.C. All information can be seen on the D.C. event page." He says he's also a veteran with the Marine Corps. And he has had his military service used against me, just like Cash has. So I just want to bring that. And I also want to say, when you're done with Cash, if you want to bring Christy in, we can go over a little bit. It's
okay, so we have some time.
Yeah,
I thought you were waving your finger like cut it short.
No,
Okay.
because if I don't bring Christy back in, she's going to yell at me.
Yeah,
I don't want to be yelled at.
Hell hath no fury like Christy Beck scorn.
That's right.
Hey, I wrote her a song. Now, what else you want?
I don't get a song. One of the things I wanted to mention is that I would like to again thank Patrick Glynn of Walk for Lost Kids for all of his help and his IT expertise and his graphics. So I'm chasing Patrick and I can't get a hold of him. And I've even been a wise ass and I'm sending him songs. I sent him "Calendar Girl" by Neil Sedaka and "You Lost That Loving Feeling." Like, he's not returning my phone calls. I can't get him. I'm trying to make my September calendar. So he finally gets back to me. He's like, "Listen, I'm in way deep over my head with Cash Jackson's tour. I gotta have a friend of mine help you out with your September calendar." So I was really pressing Patrick Lynn, but I know he's working really hard with you to manage or to be part of your team.
Yeah, and definitely. Thank you so much for mentioning Patrick. And let me say, the people on my team with Patrick Glenn, Alan Carter down here in Southern Illinois. My friend Stephanie, she's part of Illinois for Parental Equality, right here with me in Lake County. And there's a lot of other people working behind the scenes and to do video and to do the planning and the coordination. And the guys out in DC, Brian Lee and those guys with Truth Exposed. So many people are working behind the scenes, and it's not, this isn't the Cash Jackson tour. You know what I mean? This is restoring freedom, and there's so many good, hardworking Americans and parents that are involved in this fight, and they deserve all of the recognition in the world for the work that they do and for what they all have to endure through this process as well.
Yeah, I wish that the show allowed us the time to thank each one of them individually, but I know that I thank you for being able to follow it. It's through the work of these people that I'm able to follow the Restoring Freedom tour. So I personally want to thank them for being in the fight and for allowing us to follow what's going on. But I got a couple minutes and we still have your dedication song, so I want to get Christy Beck on the phone because Eric constantly interrupts her. So it's kind of an inside joke with the name of her show.
Mommy interrupted.
Christy interrupted is what. Maybe we should call her show "Eric Interrupts Me."
Eric interrupts me.
So, Christy, are you with us on the phone?
Not yet. I got to disconnect. I have to get. The problem is for some reason it's not showing her as a contact, so I can't join the two of them together. So,
all right, so we got to throw off Cash Jackson.
So we got to throw off. Yeah, we got to throw off Cash.
Well, Cash Jackson, you've been ousted, but. We want to thank you for your efforts. I'm proud of you. God bless you for defending this country and for your continued fight for this cause. I'm behind you and I'm going to be with you on behalf of WLINY on September 11th. So God bless you and keep up the fight, brother.
Yeah, you too. Love you guys, man. You guys have a great day.
Take care, Cash. All right, let's get, hold on. Let me just get her on here. Hold on one second. Hold on. Come on, Christy.
So in the meantime, for those of you following us on Meerkat and Spreaker and Facebook Live, I just want to point out that we have Mia Padron here from being very quiet and very patient, but for her cause for hydrocephalus awareness.
Come on, Christy.
So maybe you can give everyone a wave. Spreaker. Connected face.
Hello.
You know what it was, Carlos, and before Christy comes on, I just want you to know that this is all Christy's fault. I've been trying desperately to get her on. Oh, Christy, are you there?
Is that right?
That's fine.
That's
so
fine.
much in my life. I'm learning, and that's why I can speak up, because I don't care what people say. You want to blame me, that's fine. But I know that it's not my fault. It's all your fault, but you can just live in your delusion land.
She's coming. Is she coming? I'm afraid she's coming to New York. She's coming. You're coming to New York. I'm afraid.
Well,
yeah, now you know why.
Yeah.
I'm going to come to New York in person and get in your face.
I do want to kind of cut in because Eric was kind enough to give me some extra shows this week, Friday. At 3 o'clock, I have Melissa J. Shea, who's been dear to this show. She makes this show possible, and for me to cover other events for LINY. So Melissa J. Shea of Money Matters will be here on Friday at 3. And we have a special show on Saturday that Eric's going to do for us exclusively on Saturday at 11 o'clock. You're going to be coming into New York along with Linda Moore.
Yes.
And we have that show. So I'm very excited to talk about that show.
I am so excited too, Carlos, that this is working out, and I'm grateful to the fact that you're going to be helping. You're going to meet us at the airport, be our personal chauffeur, and we're going to be live on air for the first time, and I get to hear Eric's song in person.
Wow! I didn't even think of that. We're going to have Eric live in the studio on Saturday.
What's
this
that?
Is big.
I'm telling you.
Eric live in the studio playing Just for Christy.
And now here it is live, Highway to Hell.
I'm gonna put a change cup in front of Eric so we can all throw donations
there
to him.
There you go. Wear sunglasses with a cane.
There you go.
Okay. So comedy hour. I think we really could have a comedy hour, but I want to apologize. I, in no way, shape, or form, wanted to kick Cash Jackson off your show. So, Cash, I'm so sorry. Me calling in was just trying to contribute, not take away from your time at all. So, but I have been on Facebook promoting the show for you guys right now. So that's that.
Absolutely.
And of course, as you know, yes, I will be flying out to New York. We're going to do our combined show on Saturday, and then with Michael Gilligan, you, Linda, and I. And actually, here's some also news. My brother, Richie Beck, who is a photojournalist and has a documentary camera as well, will be following us the whole time.
Fantastic.
Yes. Fantastic. So he's going to be joining us. So we got some logistics things we'll be working on, transportation and lodging wise, but it's all going to work out. So
I think transportation wise, Michael Gilligan of Smash Printer LA Nation has that worked out.
A van. Okay.
He's got a van. So
perfect.
And then we have to find a soundproof booth for me because I'm a notorious snorer. So
that's fine. I'll just bring earplugs. I invest some stock in some earplugs. It'll be fine.
My girlfriend suggested a soundproof booth just so no one kills me in the middle of the night.
Nice. Well, I actually, as a travel agent, I'm working on getting some additional rooms, maybe even in other hotels. Okay. So, and I say that now I'm announcing it live on here, but there are some people that I will be reaching out to that I know are in need of lodging. I know Ginger Gentile is going to be, looking to join, and so we'll be coordinating some of that. But
I'm really excited. This is fantastic with all the people coming out. I did speak also to Yahya McClain, who will be coming as well, another documentary director. This is going to be a fantastic day.
It is, and I'm so grateful. And I guess Brian Lee, who messaged in, he's the one that I know that I saw post in a Facebook, it was in a thread on the Father's Rights Movement, I believe, where I, for the first time, saw the actual schedule for Sunday, which was, oh shoot, how is this all happening? Because it says the White House, but the way all of our flights are flying out, me, you, and Linda back to California Sunday to be at Michael Lazaren's press conference the next day, because I was supposed to be there and so was Linda. It kind of threw everything off. So we had to do a lot of scrambling on our end. And, but Carlos is committed. Carlos is going to Michael Lazaren. You're Carlos.
Yes, that would be me.
Sorry. I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. So you're going, and I'm glad, and I will stay. And actually that night, Sunday, I'm going to have my regular show at 8:00 Eastern with Cash Jackson.
Fantastic.
So Sunday I'll be interviewing him again. And I don't know if you know this, or you probably do, but before he mentioned the whole campaign, I already had Cash scheduled for September 11th.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was kind of like a predictive thing. I don't know. Don't ask me how things happen in my life, but that's how they go. Ooh. So I'm staying, and I'll be there for that, and I'll do my best to, get coverage to whatever degree we can, and of course have that interview.
Again, the enthusiasm, Christy. I'm always impressed by your enthusiasm and how much you're out
You're like,
there.
Take a chill pill, girl.
No, it's inspiring, and every time I turn around, you're in a picture with somebody in the movement. You know this person. It's like everybody knows Christy. It's like that Kevin Bacon game where everyone guesses how Kevin Bacon's connected to every Hollywood actor. Christy's connected to everyone in the movement.
It's bizarre. I'm gonna tell you, I don't don't quite understand it myself. And when Patrick suggested for me to have a radio show, what that did was it made me realize, okay, you know what? All these connections I've been making along the line, now there's a platform to pull them all together.
Yeah.
And that's the part that, yeah, it's really intriguing to me. But I'm whatever. I'm again, you're far more well-spoken and educated as a pediatrician and intelligent. And I don't mean to put myself down, but I'm just saying in the way, you know, your ability to speak regarding laws and everything that's kind of, you know, over my head sometimes. So we're yin yang. That's all, you know.
I always looked at stuff, you know, not to cut you off, but the biggest compliment I was ever paid was that you're a blue-collar guy with a white-collar job. You know, and I've always been, you know, when people look at me, no one ever pictures me as a pediatrician. I had one person once when I was married working on my house that found out I was a pediatrician. He's like, oh, I'm surprised. I didn't think you're a pediatrician. And I was like, well, what did you think I did for a living? He goes, I don't know. I thought you sold like car parts. Like, I don't know. I go, that probably would be a lot of fun too. You know, but, you know, it's
nice.
Just, you know, the thing is just, you know, it's what we do. And I think it's the expertise you could bring to the moment. And, you know, in your travels, you know, I learned, you know, that weekend I spent with you and Patrick Lynn and Cass Jackson and some of the other members there, your folks.
My parents.
Your parents, yeah. Wonderful people. I learned a lot. It really felt like I was sitting in a classroom, and as being a professional geek, I enjoyed it. And that, like, I was a lot, you know, I took in a lot that weekend. I came back, I was like, my God, she had so much to share, and I learned so much. You know, and these are things, you know, so I happen to have a job that involved a lot of school because I'm a dork. But, you know, you guys have so much expertise, and I love listening.
We're streetwise, is what you're saying.
Well, no, not streetwise. You know,
we got street smarts.
That's part of it. That's part of your allure. But I think
that's right.
You had another point you were making before I cut you off.
Oh, I did. Well, good luck with that.
You did. So I threw you off track.
Who knows? I think I was mainly just wanting to say to all the listeners out there who are there right now, just to reiterate and reaffirm that the time is now. Please come out. Please write your letters. Please show up at any Capitol. And it sounds like there might be some changes. So hopefully people are able to, if you were planning on going to some of these other locations that Cash was supposed to go to, and hopefully you can adjust your itinerary as well and go to wherever it is that he needs to go. You know, he's under a lot of stress and pressure. I can tell you, just on my end, I'm doing a lot in the background, full-time job, which is really busy. And then I'm doing a lot in the background, and I'm having, like, I went to yoga last night, but I'm overwhelmed and I'm having a real hard time breathing, and I'm doing, there's a lot going on. So please, my main thing is, please go out and support the movement, Restoring Freedom 2016. If you have media contacts in any of these locations, I know Jody Mueller had posted some information about contacts actually on the Restoring Freedom page. I don't know who it was, but the event page for Washington, D.C., there's a whole list, which I will be, in my spare time, hopefully trying to reach out to all the media contacts in Washington, D.C. We need coverage. And I'm sure with the way it's going, that it seems like he's been getting local news coverage almost in every city. But Washington, D.C. would be really
it's going to be
a big deal.
Well, I know that, you know, Eric is behind us, 100% on LANY, so I'm going to be there as well as you as correspondents, you know, on location. So that's going to be great. Eric's,
there you go.
Eric's working on
that.
Well,
we're the media. What am I thinking?
Yeah, well, but, you know, the thing is, like, you know, one of my points is to grow in media strength, to show that, you know, that we're out there. You know, so that's a big one. And, you know, one of the comments I want to make, you know, I've been out there alone on my own walk. I've been to events where there's 2 or 3 people. One of the things, you know, I've had people show up, go, this is it, and then they turn around and walk away. I was like, you know, now we're 1 or 2 people less.
You're
right.
Know,
like, so if you want the chance to ride on a winner, this is the biggest event that I've seen since I've joined the movement. And so, you know, if you want to be there for something big and for something that's actually like, wow, they got something going. This is the event. This is the tour. You got to get out there, because if we don't get out there now, I don't know what it's going to take.
That's the truth. That's the fact. And it is about standing up for our constitutional rights and working toward parental equality, because our kids deserve to have both parents involved.
Exactly.
Just because there's divorce does not mean that parents, fathers, in particular, fathers' rights movement people, fathers, typically it happens, but it happens to mothers too. And ultimately the victims are the children. So this is the time.
Exactly.
This is the time.
Exactly. And if you bring only half of your friends, I'm sure we're going to have, there's not going to be enough room on the White House lawn. Christy knows everybody. So Christy, just reach out to half of your contact list and we're going to be good. So, I want Christy, always a pleasure to talk to you. You always put me in a good mood with the positive energy.
Well, we're going to have so much fun this weekend. You just wait.
It's going to be good. And remember, try to find me a room snoring far away from you guys.
There's a soundproof room in a basement somewhere. I think at the Trump Tower.
Okay, well I'm gonna have to take that because that's all we can do.
I hear they have rooms at the Watergate.
That would be great.
You'll be pretty impressed with the location where I got some hotels.
Yeah, I'm gonna be working on my emails and I watch out for everything that has a C on it. But listen, I want to thank Eric because Christy, thank you for coming on. Cash,
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Cash, for coming on. And Eric, thank you for the extra time on today's show. Eric's always been good to the cause.
Thank you, Eric.
And WLINY also has been strong behind us. I want to thank the station. So before we sign off, we have Cash Jackson's dedication song. Want to again thank Mia for coming in. She has a big event on September 18th at Belmont Lake State Park for hydrocephalus awareness and for fundraising. So, for those locally in the area, our listeners, please, take a little time, maybe an hour of your day, spend by Belmont Lake State Park, and show your support. And let's help the children and the families affected by hydrocephalus. So, Mia, God bless you. Thank you for your patience for coming in today.
Thank you so much.
And again, your organization that you represent.
The Hydrocephalus Association.
Hydrocephalus Association. Again, feel free next Wednesday if you'd like to come by. It'd be great.
Thank you.
So for everybody out there in the fight, God bless you. We're going to continue fighting for you. Now I'd like to sign off. And again, Eric, thank you for your time and your support.
I've been rejected way too many times in my life. I won't take no for an answer anymore. Seems all these walls been erected to stop my dreams, yeah. But I won't let that be a factor anymore. If you won't stand with me, if you won't go with me, I'm gonna go on by myself. If you won't fight with me, if you don't believe in me, I'm gonna walk on by myself. I got this burning fire deep in my soul, and I can't escape this lonely, lonely flame. My journey may go down an old rugged road, but I keep on pressing, 'cause I'm not afraid anymore. If you won't stand with me, if you won't go with me, I'm gonna go on by myself. If you won't fight with me, if you won't believe with me, I'm gonna walk on by myself. I can see clearly now. Hold on. My future's my responsibility. Now I realize that if nobody helps carry my cross, I still gotta go on.